Let us spend some time extolling the virtues of the humble hose clamp. I have a need for a small blasting cabinet. Sandblasting. Sandblasting is a process of using air as a cutting medium by putting a particulate into it. If you've ever been in a dust storm, or in a high wind with a lot of dust in it, you've been sandblasted. That's a particulate being carried by a fluid. Funnily enough, I just had some stuff water cut by a friend of mine, and I'm realizing as I say this that water cutting is the same process. Water cutting is water moving at an incredibly high pressure past a small point with a particulate in it that does the cutting as the water moves past the object. Why do I need sandblasting? I occasionally have to resuscitate some parts with small bits of damage that are hard to get to. I also do some tool restoration here. I have in the past. And really specifically, right now, I'm working on a Blade Runner prop, which I'll cover in a separate video, that needs some specific sandblast finishes on some of the parts. Basically, when you're looking at metals in manufacturing, they have different finishes. There's polished, there's dull, within elevators, there's an X4 grain finish. These are all codified values within industry. And what is a great... So the opening of Mindhunter, the David Fincher show starring Jonathan Groff. The opening of Mindhunter is a set of shots of a tape recorder, a Sony TCR 500, something like that. A Sony reel-to-reel recorder, and it's beautiful, beautiful shots of the top of the recorder, polished, machined metal, and things like that. And I happen to know the guy that rebuilt most of the top of that Sony reel-to-reel. He's a colleague in the industry, and he said specifically that David Fincher asked for a walnut shell medical grade finish on the tape reels, and walnut is one of the things you can use as your cutting medium in sandblasting. And so I have some walnut, I have some sand, I have some other stuff here, but I don't have a cabinet, so I'm going to make a cabinet. And sandblasting cabinets can get as complicated as you want. For sandblasting under really specific and precise conditions, you need a high level of air drying, air movement, and all sorts of other stuff, filtration. I'm going to go with a more DIY, it's still going to be filtered, but it's going to be a more DIY homespun sandblasting cabinet. I'm only going to use it once a year. It doesn't get heavy use, but here are the main components I have done so far without telling you anything about it. That means I did it off camera. First up are the holes by which the sandblasting cabinet is activated. So I've got some PVC pipes that fit these holes, and I've got some gloves that fit those pipes. And so that will be the primary way by which the work inside is manipulated. But in order to see one's work, one needs a window. And I bought this tempered glass chopping block a couple of years ago, specifically for sandblasting. And it's pressure fit right now into this plywood frame because I'm weird like that. I will secure it. And then I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So I've added some tracks here to put in LED lighting, and I'm going to cover these tracks with some acrylic so that they're protected. And this should allow me a really nice view of my work in there. Now on the bottom of this, I'm also going to have a funnel so that I can collect the blast media and maybe reuse it. But we'll see. It's going to wheel around on something approximating this stand here, which is totally... that was built for something else, but it's totally usable for this. And I'm just going to slap this together in the next couple of hours. Now, I needed a steel grate. I needed a grate in there so that I could collect the sandblasting media down a funnel. And that is a regular feature of sandblasters. Luckily, I found this shelf upstairs. So I'm going to cut this shelf and then I'm going to route this bottom of the sandblaster. A hose clamp is a notched ribbon with a thread captured piece of a threaded bolt that activates and integrates with that ribbon to tighten it. And there's really, like, every maker should have a complement of these. 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch. And then if you need a really big one, you can actually scab them together out of several. You can make, Jamie and I circled like an 8-foot thing and was able to get pressure on it. So hose clamps are incredibly versatile. Unfortunately, most of the hose clamps out there are shite. They really are. They're good for like one-time use. You want really good hose clamps, you order them from McMaster-Carr. Recently, I got a whole bin of hose clamps from McMaster-Carr from some other company going out of business. They're so expensive. They're like $3 a piece. I'm not exactly sure of the price, but they're expensive enough that when the last time I looked at buying like a box, I was like, no. And I got to like 40 or 50. It was a really good score. That's not any of these. They're smaller. But hose clamps, man, when you need a high level of specific pressure in the round, hose clamp is your jam. I'm putting on the second glove. We'll see if I can, hopefully I'm going to be witnessing operation of this thing sometime in the next hour. Here's hoping. I don't think these gloves are long enough, but you know, they'll do for now. All right, I'm gonna get some power on this puppy. Power will come here. To this. To this. Okay, yeah, and there you go. There's some light on the situation. It's illuminating. It's time to sandblast, and I'm going to sandblast this. Here is the before picture, and I'm going to let you see while I do it. All right, we're going to try some sandblasting. I've got the part in there. I've got the air power. You can see what I'm about to do. Oh, and, oh, I can't get the, oh my God. Okay, cool. Certain limitations. So, ooh, Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. I got, oh yeah, there you go. Oh, it's very subtle. There's a lot of kinks still to work out. It needs a shop vac attachment. Why? Because of the dust. See the dust there? I can't see anything after a minute. And the light is great. The dust is not great. So, it's incumbent on me to hook up a shop vac to this and have it, whoop, evacuate. Let me go do that. There we go. All right. I can't quite see how I'm doing, so I'm going to take a look on the inside. So I wasn't getting the behavior I wanted out of walnut shells, but that's also because it's the first time I ever tried using them. But I did find I had some 80 grit sandblasting sand here, and I'm going to try this out. And I have high hopes that this will get me across the line. I'm really pleased with this thing. Look, I know I could buy one of these for like 250 bucks. They're not complicated pieces of machinery. And I know that they can get nice and complicated, but I'm really, you know me, I love a plywood tool. And this is also me using a lot of the bullshit ply. The low ply number 3/4 inch ply. It's kind of semi-garbage ply, but at 3/4 of an inch thick, it's pretty useful. All right, yeah, let's get into it. For reference, I'm going to be sandblasting, let's say this middle ring. So you can see how, yeah, here we go. I'll be sandblasting this one, and then we can check out, it looks like it has, why am I complicating things with 3 objects? Let's do some communication here. I have 2 objects. They look pretty identical now. When I'm done with this, they won't. Narrative. Yes, so I've got these rings, and I'm going to sandblast one and check out what the new texture looks like. I'm so happy. Look at that. Dude, that's a lovely finish. That's just what I was hoping for. Woohoo, woohoo. Yeah. Oh, super psyched. That right there is a big deal. And there's the difference. There is the difference. There, you see that? That's what it used to look like. That's what it looked like after a couple minutes of sandblasting. Dude, I am pleased. All right. Yeah. I feel like that's it. I feel that's it for the cabinet. I may paint it at some point, but for right now, it will remain plywood. It seems to be like a nice sealed box. I think I may want some more flexible sandblasting gloves that are longer, but that's I can obtain and achieve that. The addition of the shop vac sticking in the side is excellent. I have looked up other aspects of sandblasting cabinets, and what I noticed is a regular thing to do is to let your shop vac clean up the dust inside a sandblasting cabinet, but to include a tornado separator, a vortex separator here, so you can pull the particulate out, and then the vacuum isn't just sucking up dust. It's actually doing the suck so that the dust can go somewhere else. So I have a vortex separator on order. And yeah, dude, I'm really pleased with my sandblasting cabinet. I've been wanting to do this forever. Yeah, for a long time. Thanks for joining me. I had a blast.